What's up, Sneaky Nation? Sneaky P here, back with all the news after Week 7 in Year 3 of our 49ers franchise. The 49ers had a bye week last week. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams. So, no highlights to show you right now. The 49ers did get some rest in. Coming after that loss to the Seahawks, it was needed. And let's go ahead and get into practice. And while we do this, I'm actually going to go ahead and do the press questions. I kind of like this setup a bit better. It saves a bit of time. Oh yeah, Dancer123, do you see the 4-year pros in the secondary holding those spots for years to come? Or are you looking to improve at some point? I'm always going to be looking to improve the team. That said, I'm very happy with their production right now, and while they do have bad games from time to time, I think it's very important to remember they're still very young players. I think all 4 of them have a very bright future. We do still have issues in the passing game, but I think a lot of that's really coming from the middle linebacker position as well as the nickel cornerback. It's stuff that we have to improve on, and I'm always going to be looking for improvements, but right now I do feel very comfortable with them. The other question coming from Aruo James, do you believe the lack of running game is on the backs or the offensive line? Do you plan on addressing the issue? And I really think it's on the offensive line. I can't blame the running backs too much at all. They really haven't been given a great chance to succeed because the holes aren't opening for them. And it is something we are going to be looking to address this offseason for sure. Definitely got to improve the running game in the long haul. Let's get to the games. The Falcons with a 38-7 victory over the Ravens. The Falcons now 3-3 on the year. The Ravens now 1-6 on the season. And they have yet to replace Joe Flacco. We've been talking about it for a while. He hasn't been playing awful, but he hasn't really been playing great either. The Ravens have not been good at all throughout this series. They went 5-10-1 last year, and they don't really seem to be doing much better this year. So I'm still waiting for them to address that. But for the time being, they're sticking with Flacco, and it's really not leading to much wins. The Falcons, on the other hand, 3-3 after going 9-7 last year. Not the best start for them, but plenty of season to go. They are looking solid. 38-21, the Colts with a victory over the Browns, and the Colts 2 wins in a row right now, and Andrew Luck is playing good. The Colts now 3-4 on the year. They only went 2-14 last year, so already improving upon that. The Browns now 1-5 on the season, not looking good. And look at Torrey Smith, 7 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown for him. Demetrius Bethel, the rookie, getting a touchdown. Gilden for the Browns, another rookie, would have a touchdown as well. But a breakout game of sorts for Torrey Smith on the Colts there. Kirksey would lead the way in tackles, sacks, 2 by Agba on the day. Interceptions, we are going to have 1 by Gerald Hodges Jr. again. Cyrus Jones with an interception. So the 2 former 49ers continuing to play well for the Colts in back-to-back weeks there. 20-17, the Vikings with a victory over the Rams. The Vikings now at 3-4 on the year. The Rams now at 2-5. Not a good start for them after going 9-7 last year. The injury to their running back Todd Gurley certainly not helping, but this was a team that looked like they might be on the rise. Jared Goff was playing very good for them, and all of a sudden they find themselves in a big hole right now, sitting at 2-5, especially with the 49ers 5-1. The game coming up between the two teams is going to be a big one for sure, as it really could allow the Rams to get back into it. If not, they might be in trouble. 25-20, the Dolphins with a victory over the Jets here. And the Jets are another team that is really just yet to address their quarterback issues. Case Keenum getting the start, not looking good there. The Dolphins are now 5-2 on the year, really looking good with Drew Brees. The Jets are sitting at 0-6, and they've had their opportunities to find a quarterback. They just continue to draft other positions, which might help them out, but at some point, you need a quarterback better than Case Keenum right now. And look at Jason Westbrooks, the rookie out of UCLA that we scouted a lot. He was a guy that we were kind of targeting. He had an interception in this one. Jenkins and Brown forcing fumbles. 35-14, the Chiefs with a victory over the Seahawks. The Chiefs now 4-3. The Seahawks now 4-3. And for the second straight game, Russell Wilson, 4 interceptions. He has really been struggling lately. Unlike the 49er game, Russell Wilson was not bailed out by the defense in this one. And the Chiefs are going to get a big victory over the Seahawks. The Chiefs, again, another team that's been very solid. They went 9-7 last year. They're 4-3 right now. They are in a tough division, though, and they are going to need to get every win possible. Getting a win against a good Seahawk team is certainly going to help them in the long haul. Fumbles forced, won by gains that would not be recovered. 31-21, the Jags with a victory over the Cowboys. The Jags now 5-2 on the year. The Cowboys are now at 1-5. And again, we talked about them struggling last year. Look at that. Elliott, 158 yards on the ground, and they still lost. We talked about them struggling at the start of last season, but they really turned it around. But they're falling further and further in the hole here. Sitting at 1-5 is not going to be easy to dig themselves out of. That being said, no team within that division is really looking at that good right now. The Eagles are 3-3. The Redskins are 3-4. Let's find out where the Giants are. The Giants are 4-2. So the Giants are out in front right now, but still a very winnable division, I would say. 31-27, the Steelers with a victory over the Bengals. The Steelers now 4-2 on the year. The Bengals now at 3-4. Steelers did not get off to the start that they wanted to this season, but since then they've put it together quite a little bit of a winning streak. Not much of one, but it's something to build momentum off of. And after going 12-4 last year, you know they are a team that can get hot. Their offense is unstoppable when they're playing well. I really have yet to see Parker Finner do a whole lot this season. I was expecting some growth from him in his second year, and we just haven't seen that happen yet, but plenty of season to go. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Fumbles forced. We are going to have one fumble forced. It would not be recovered. 31-30, the Eagles with a victory over the Saints. The Eagles at 3-3 on the year. The Saints now at 2-4. A great game by Zach Ritchie, and then Kirkland Keaton, the rookie quarterback, not looking all that great there. The Saints started off slow, then they went on a winning streak a little bit, and now they're starting to lose some games again. Jordan Matthews, 135 yards and 2 touchdowns for him on the day. And again, Zach Ritchie, another guy that we are just going to have to keep an eye on because he's had somewhat of a hot and cold season so far, but this guy clearly has a lot of potential. I think we saw that in our matchup against the Eagles, so somebody worth keeping an eye on. And then there you go, Tremaine Brock, his 3rd interception over the last 2 weeks, continues to play well for this Eagles defense there. Robertson would force a fumble and recover it. 24-21, the Bills with a victory over the Titans. The Bills now at 4-3 on the year. The Titans are now at 2-5, continuing to struggle. Marcus Mariota did throw 3 touchdowns, but he did throw 2 interceptions to go with it, so really not that great of a game from him. Josh Huff, 6 catches, 95 yards, and 3 touchdowns for him. There's DeMarco Bullitt. He has been very quiet for a first-round selection. I was really anticipating seeing him kind of having a breakout year, and that just has not been the case at all for him. Really not on the same page as Mariota early on. Interceptions, Williamson, Church, and Darby making the plays for the defenses there. Fumbles, let's see what we got, and no fumbles taking place there. 34-20, the Raiders with a victory over the Chargers. The Raiders are now at 4-2 on the year. The Chargers are now at 3-4, so the Chargers starting to lose some games again after getting off to a decent start early on. And the Raiders, starting to emerge as another team to beat. The Broncos obviously having a lot of success within that division as well, but certainly worth keeping an eye on this battle. These division games, again, play a big role in how the playoffs end up playing out. Mario Edwards Jr. with 3 sacks, Khalil Mack with 2 interceptions, one by Carl Joseph. Fumbles forced and fumbles recovered. Nothing going on there. 41-17. The Broncos with a blowout victory over the Cardinals, and Paxton Lynch back-to-back great games by him. He won Player of the Week last week. Looking really good this week too. The Broncos now 5-1 on the season. The Cardinals, after going 11-5 last year, starting off 3-3. So not a great start for them either, but the Broncos really in stride right now. They're playing outstanding, and they would pick up the victory here today. Their offense really did a great job against the Cardinals' defense as well. Chandler Jones had 2 sacks. I believe it was Von Miller with 2.5. I missed it, though. Deion Buchanan with the interception. Fumbles forced. We got one by Matthew. It would not be recovered. 42-16. The Lions with a blowout victory over the Patriots. The Lions are now 4-3 on the year, and James Vallejo struggling under 200 yards, 0 touchdowns to go with 3 interceptions. The Patriots now only 4-3 on the year. Again, they had a lot of success last year, going 11-5 with rookie quarterback James Vallejo. And while they're not struggling with the 4-3 record, they're certainly not looking great. Getting blown out at all is not a good look, and when your record's almost 500, you got to be a bit worried. The Lions, though, an outstanding game. We didn't see a great game from the quarterback. Stafford threw 3 interceptions as well, but they're 4-3 as well, so tied with the Patriots right now. Not that that's really going to matter within the playoff picture, but still interesting. And there are the fumbles forced and fumbles recovered. A rookie out of Colorado there, and then Nathaniel Marriott, a guy that we know well after watching last season. 24-20, the Panthers with a victory over the Redskins. The Panthers now 3-3 on the year. The Redskins now 3-4. 2 interceptions by Cousins, and Denton Ritchie came in through one pass, and it was intercepted by the Panthers defense. Sims was 70 yards on the ground. Cam Newton did run for 2 touchdowns in this. Kirk Cousins actually ran for a touchdown as well. The quarterbacks getting it done there. Pierre Garçon, 6 catches, 101 yards for him. Sims and Olsen with some touchdowns on the day. Defensively, leading the way in tackles is Cravens with 13 sacks, 2 by Chris Baker. Bunch of players going to split one there. Interceptions, Cravens, Thompson, Alford, Norman, and Ambrose, a rookie out of Georgia Tech, free safety for the Panthers with the interceptions. Fumbles forced, we've got nothing happening there. 24-16, the Packers with a victory over the Bears. The Packers now 4-2 on the year. The Bears with their second loss of the season. They are now 5-2 on the year. And again, with this being a division game, it's interesting. The Packers now have the tiebreaker over the Bears. They do have one less win, but they've played one less week. So if they pick up another win, they should have the lead within that division. Right now, though, the Bears are holding on very strong. Again, being 5-2 with the rookie quarterback is quite impressive, and going up against that Packers team is not an easy task. The Packers went 11-5 last year. The Bears went 10-6. So let's go ahead and check out the players of the week. Zach Ritchie, 31-42, 4 passing touchdowns, 382 yards for him. Trevathan, 9 tackles, an interception, fumble forced and fumble recovered. Avery Williamson, 12 tackles, 2 sacks, and an interception. And then Le'Veon Bell, 100 yards on the ground. He also had 105 receiving yards, only 1 receiving touchdown on the day, but over 200 yards from scrimmage. An outstanding effort to move the ball. And then here you go in scouting the draft stories. Georgia coach announced today that Gant Pennington would be suspended the remainder of the season. If I'm not mistaken, we have scouted this guy quite a lot, and he looked very good. So this injury could cause him to drop down the draft a little. Not injury, but this suspension. And if he does drop down the draft, we might be able to pick him up for some very good value. Shaquille Swan, strong safety out of Southern Miss. Travante Heath, a 21-year-old strong safety out of Wyoming. Scouting some safeties in this one just as backups, as well as maybe a guy to potentially move over to linebacker. J.J. Neely out of Alabama, only 21 years old. Eduardo Frazier out of Kansas State, A- hit power. This guy's looking to go in the 7th round. Having that skill, I mean, this guy could be a very good linebacker potentially. Obviously, we need to see more from him than that pursuit, I believe it was. Rayquez Penn, a free safety there, is somebody else we were looking at. And then we got a decision to make on who to bring back. We've got a lot of free agents that we really view as a core of this team right now. And we're starting to get into a point where we've got to be careful with how we are spending our money. Bradley Pinion, though, we do want him back. He's becoming one of the best punters in the league, and it looks like we're going to have to continue to negotiate with him. Eric Armstead really hasn't developed a whole lot for what we were looking at right now, but he's still only 24 years old, and he's really getting back into the picture this season, playing a lot better and making a lot of plays. But again, he's going to turn that one down. Trent Brown is kind of a guy I'd like to have as a backup. I don't want him on a 4-year deal. Let's try to offer him a 2-year deal and a bit more money. I do need to replace him coming up. But until I do, I don't want to just let him go for nothing. He is still only 25 years old, but he's not liking that contract much. Eli Harold is another guy I like just for depth purposes, having a linebacker 85 speed, and he will be back with the team. It's nice to re-sign him there. And then Tart, again, another guy that I'd like to have back. He's only a backup for us, but he's been playing very well in that position. Only 72 zone coverage. We do need to improve that a little bit, but I like his ability. He is really all over the field. He's not going to accept that, though. A lot of these guys not liking the contracts we're offering him. Demetrius McCray, I want him on a 2-year deal. This guy has been very good in special teams, and whenever he has had to step in for an injury, he's been playing very well at corner as well. But again, really, he's not going to accept there. Tiller, Beatles, I'm okay without. Mike Morgan, I can't negotiate with yet. So that's going to be it there. And we've already seen the Rams lineup in the preseason, so no need to check that out. That is going to be it for this episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hit that like button if you did. And I will see you guys in Week 8 as we take on the Los Angeles Rams. Later.